So some people might find this interesting or maybe depressing. Remember how a couple of weeks ago I mentioned I had a COVID test? And the reason I had a COVID test is when I got back from our show vacation, I was in Martha's Vineyard. I was having some headaches and tiredness, which could be nothing, could be COVID, could be allergies, could be something else altogether. So my doctor initially said, just because we really don't want to miss it, let's first do a COVID test and rule that out. We don't want you walking around contagious if this isn't allergies, if it's coronavirus. So we did the COVID test. It was negative. Okay, good. We ruled that out. So then my doctor said, let's just get a bunch of standard blood work. We'll check your blood counts. We'll check for infections. We'll check liver function because Martha's Vineyard has a lot of ticks. Let's rule out Lyme disease. I wasn't aware of having been bit by a tick, but seems smart. Martha's Vineyard and some of those islands, I think Block Island, Nantucket. I think there's a heavy amount of tick flying around, walking around there. Do ticks fly? I'm not even sure. In any case, I wasn't aware of being bit by a tick, but my doctor, in an abundance of caution, said, let's set up the blood work. I go in. There's no wait. The phlebotomist sits me down. Great service. I'm in there for 5 minutes. Bing, bang, boom. 9 vials of blood lighter. I head out and everything looks fine. That 5-minute visit was $1,342 worth of blood work. You have to see this bill I got, which we're going to put up on the screen for our visual audience. So you've got the puncturing of my vein itself. That was $16. I guess that includes the alcohol swab and the needle and who knows whatever else. Some of the blood tests are cheap. So for example, like my basic blood count was only $83. The liver function test, which is the C-reactive protein, that was $53. And then some of these tests are way more money. So since I was tired, we were looking at thyroid. That one's $176. Checking for Lyme disease was $150. Something called DNA RNA Zika, I guess just testing for Zika virus, that was almost $500. And in total, this was $1,342, from which my insurance negotiated a big discount for themselves and paid a portion of it, leaving me with a $75 copay, I guess you would say, for the blood work. This is another one of those examples of a fundamentally broken system. And we could do an hour on each of these aspects. The huge sticker prices to account for insurance companies negotiating discounts, to account for people without insurance or people who never end up paying. Huge sticker price and then negotiating down. 5 minutes in the hospital, theoretically $1,300 for someone, $75 for me because I pay $500 a month for my insurance. In other words, when I got my appendectomy, I mentioned I had to pay my full $2,000 deductible. I paid $500 a month for insurance to have the privilege of only owing $2,000 for my appendectomy. Here, I am paying $500 a month in my health insurance premium to have the privilege of only owing $75 for the blood work. And of course, all of this is a complete disconnect from the real actual cost of these things. Trash, broken system. Listen, I wish I could say Joe Biden wins and we fix it, but we know it's much bigger than that. Joe Biden wants a public option and to negotiate some drug prices. We need much bigger systemic change. It's worse with Trump, but this is going to be, I don't want to be pessimistic, but I think in the best case, we've got a decade before we really make substantial change to this system. And we'll be talking about that more for sure once we know who will be steering the ship for the next 4 years. One of our sponsors today is Vincero Watches, and they're giving you 15% off everything in the store. If you're a guy looking for the perfect way to refresh your style, one of the best investments you can make is in a high-quality wristwatch. Vincero is an American company that has made it possible for everyday people to afford a premium watch. Almost everything they sell is within the range of about $200, but it'll look like you spent a lot more. All of their watches are made in small batches from top quality materials, and they just look great. I went on their site and picked out a watch from their Icon Automatic collection. The one I got is in mesh matte black, and I love it. It's simple, sleek, elegant, goes great with just about anything I'm wearing, and I've gotten a ton of compliments on it. You'll get 15% off everything in their store when you go to davidpakman.com/Vincero. I've put the link right underneath this video.